Hey everybody, Mark Larson here. Welcome to Brickworld's first video on design techniques. Brickworld's mission in doing shows around the country is to connect the community and bring inspiration to people. And while we have our shows that we do here in the Midwest United States, we'd like to start bringing some of that inspiration and community connection throughout the world through our YouTube channel. So we're starting today with a little bit of a design video on building things that are round. So when you start building your own designs, one of the first steps of evolution as a designer is breaking out of the square medium. Lego is a very rigid square medium, and one of the big fun challenges of building things out of Lego bricks is making something round out of something that is so rigid and square. So we're going to look at a couple techniques today. This one's really rather simple. It's just a series of smaller units that, when built together with these round areas in between each brick, you're able to bend it into a circle. And we're going to talk about building graduated units so that we look like we have a tapered tower. So that's the goal today. Let's get started. So again, the point today is that we're going to build a round tower like this, and this is made of 3 different sections of bricks that are connected and bent into a circle. And the way we're going to accomplish that is we're going to build 165 of these and 165 of these. Now I use this piece here as what we're going to put between each brick. It's 3 1x1 rounds stacked. Can you use a 1x1 round brick instead? Absolutely you can. I use the 1x1 round bricks, round plates stacked, because I like the texture that it adds to each layer. You see a little bit of, just a little peek of that through between each brick, and I think it adds a little bit. But please feel free to use the 1x1 round brick if you don't have 495 of the 1x1 round plate that it will take to make this tower. So if you want to grab your building materials before we start, you will need 495 of the 1x1 round plate or 165 of the round brick. You'll need 330 of the Headlight Brick. You'll need 165 1x2 plates. This can be in any color. I'm choosing dark gray because my scheme here is dark gray and I want to be able to build an interior. But if no one's ever going to see the interior, you can make this 1x2 plate any color. You'll need 165 of the 1x3 tile, and you'll need 33 of a 2x2 plate. This could be 2x3, this could be 2x4. We're just going to use these to connect the sections together. You see them sticking out of the bottom here so that it's something that gives it a little bit more stability when they're together. We've got 1x2 sticking out of the bottom of this one, and it goes right in here on top to kind of lock everything in place. So that's what we'll be using those for. Quick design note, if there's any piece that I run out of every time I'm designing something in whatever color I'm working in, it's the 1x2 plate. I also run out of 1x1 plate, 1x1 round plate, 1x2 tile, and 1x1 tile. Those are the most common pieces that I use. Besides from these snot pieces, snot standing for studs not on top if you're not familiar with it, using the Headlight Brick, which is what I call this piece, using a 1x1 with side studs, 1x2 with side studs, etc. Now, if you're just starting out and you don't have a great quantity of any of these pieces, check out bricklink.com. It's a great resource for finding the parts that you need at relatively affordable prices, depending on which store you end up in. But check it out as a resource because it'll save you a lot of time searching, a lot of time buying extra sets that you don't need just to get certain parts. It will change the way that you build as a Lego designer. Also, in terms of design, if you're building this and you want to build a tower like this, you don't have to stick to this color scheme. This is just what I'm using as an example. So if you want to build along, but you already have a design in mind, feel free to grab these parts in any color that you want to design in. building the individual bricks that are going to constitute the tower, it's just 2 headlight bricks on a 1x3 tile, but you're going to insert the 2 tubes on the back of the 1x3 tile are going to go into the holes on the headlight brick. So it's centered, the 2 headlight bricks are centered between the ends of the 1x3 tile. And then for stability, we take the 1x2 plate and attach it to the back of the headlight bricks so that we have a nice strong brick. And then we do that 165 times. A good idea, because of how we are going to be building these, is as you are building them and counting them, you can actually stack them in groups of 5, because we're going to build them that way anyway. So once you get a good number going, you want to count up to 165 of them, do them in groups of 5 like this, because this is how they're going to end up on the final build. Make sure they face the same way, because that'll be important. Okay, so once we have all of our sections built, have all of our pre-building done, we're going to take these sections, add our round element. As I'm adding it, if you look, if you put this on while it's just in place, there's not enough room, because of the headlight brick, there's not enough room for this to fit in place. So you have to bend it a little bit in order to get that to fit. And you're going to go all the way up the 5 steps. And for this first section, which in our sketch model is this bottom section here, there are 12 sections. So you're going to do this 11 times and then connect them together. So you can see right now we can already do this with this section. See what I'm doing here is I'm putting the 2 curved sections together, snapping them together, click. And then there's going to be an empty slot down here. And I'm going to put in another one of our round sections so that we've got a little start to our curved wall. And now we're going to do this 10 more times. Part of what might help is to, before you connect 2 sections, put these round parts in place first. So we've got this already curved, so it's more likely to fit together with this when we snap them together. Click. All right. We put in our extra. And we're going to do this 9 more times. All right, when you're down to the last section, pop our little mortar bricks in there real quick. All right, so we're getting this last section in here. Just open this up a little bit. Make a nice creak sound, but everything should stay together. Nice solid build we got going here. I'm going to go ahead and push this in and then just bring this up to it. Voila, it's all together. Then you have these two empty spaces down here to fill. There. And there. Alright, so we got it in every place, and that is the first section. If that's your first time building a round tower, give yourself a round of applause. Take a little break, you've earned it. Okay, so now that we're done with this section, we're going to move on to making the center section, which has 11 segments in it. This one had 12 all the way around. Now we're going to make one with 11 segments in it. We'll get to the cross section a little bit later, but we're going to do something to keep this a little bit sturdier so it's not so squishy. All right, so now we have 11 of these segments, and we're going to put them together the same way we put these 12 segments together. So once we are done with our 11 segment portion, I'm going to turn this over and take these 2x2 plates, 1x2 dark gray tiles, which I forgot to mention at the beginning, but will be up in the inventory. And you're going to put this on each one of these 1x2 plates behind the bricks, so that we have something that will catch on the inside of the 12 segment portion. And there we go. So we take our 12 segment portion, put the 11 segment portion in there, do a little bit of squeezing to make sure they match up. So you get a little bit more of a lock in place there. So now we've got our first two segments built. If you take a look at the segment in our sketch model, I've gone ahead and put a brace across the top so that we have a little bit more stability in here. And what I've done here, started out with 2x2, and then using a 1x2 Technic brick with 2 holes, and then a 1x4 with 3 holes, so that we get that offset there. So we go from 2 to 1, and we basically get something to bridge across from one side to the other. And that's the point of that there, like tear part of it apart. Just to give us a little bit more stability. Go ahead and take a look at this, screen cap it, pause it here, look what I've done, and go ahead, if you want to go further with this build, go ahead and copy this now. We'll talk a little bit more about it in the next part, in building around part 2, which we'll do later this week or next week. And we're going to be building this into a square structure. And so this will come in handy. If you make this brace now, it'll certainly make your current creation a lot sturdier. All right, here's the last little segment before we put it all together. The 10 segment portion. So we're going to do just as we've done with all of the others. I'm going to move this over here so we can see what I'm doing. By now you should be pretty used to doing this. And hopefully this part will go quickly for you. Okay, so we do the same as we did for the other. We got our last section, so we spread this open a little bit. Lock that in. Bring this side together, flip it over, add our little grout pieces here. There's one extra. There we go. I had exactly enough. We're going to do the same thing that we did with our last segment. We're going to take 10 of these and 10 of these. We're going to add a 2x2 plate with a 1x2 tile to the bottom of each one of these so that they lock into the 11 segment portion. Once you have that, sticking onto the top here, we have got our tower, and do a little bit of turning there so that they all match up, or so they don't match up, and so we got a little bit of a difference there between. So here's our basic tower. Before we finish today, we're going to do one more thing, because if you keep building up a tower this size, you're going to end up with a building that nobody can get into or see out of, or, you know, basically live in. So one thing we're going to do before we stop today is we're going to talk about adding windows to one portion of this. What we're going to do, we're going to take our tapered tower here, we're going to remove the top section, and we're going to put the window in this section here. The reason I'm doing this section is because the window that we're going to put in here is likely to push this section out of its circular form a little bit. And we're going to have this on top of that to hold it all together once we have the window in. So let's get started with this. First thing we're going to do is we're going to remove a bunch of brick from this side. Now, why am I having you remove a bunch of building that I've just asked you to do? There are two reasons. One, I wanted you to build the entire structure as it was, so you get an idea of the engineering behind making the tapered tower. This way you get the entire concept and you can see it from beginning to end if you were to make one tall tower. The other reason is design is an ugly process. And I want to encourage you not to be afraid to take things apart that you've already finished, to try to make it better, and to try new things with it. We know how this went together. We get the whole concept. So we are confident that we can get it back together if we need to. And then we learn a lot of new things as we go. Now I want the window to start here on this level. And the reason I want that is I want to start with two of these sections next to each other so that I can build up from there. So I'm going to remove 3 more here. 1, 2, and 3. Come back here. Gravity. Gravity is the Lego builder's nemesis. Alright, so I'm just going to take one of these rounded windows. I'm going to just stick it on there. I'm going to build a little frame around it, just with some 1x1 round bricks here, you see? And build that up. I'm going to put a 1x4 arch brick over that. And that is going to push it a little bit out of our circle because it's squaring this off with these connections here. So now we're just going to try to get our bricks back in there. And the first thing we see, we're going to concentrate on this little section right here. We can't put this back in here, can we? No. So, I've got my brick separator here now. One of the reasons that we made this frame with round bricks is so that we could stick this back in here. And now we see that our other brick is too wide. So we're going to grab some other size tiles. We're going to get ourselves a 1x2 light gray tile. And we're going to start by just getting that headlight brick in there. So we've got the headlight brick in there now, next to this 1x1 round. And now we have a different size brick there. And then we can put this brick back in up top, but we have a square arch brick next to it, and we don't want to continue to push this out, and that's what it'll do if I force that in there. So again, we're going to take the 1x2 plate off the back of here. We're going to remove this headlight brick so that we have that headlight brick left on the back of the tile, still offset. And we're going to put that there, and we can actually keep it all together by putting another one of these. Oh, no, actually that won't fit because of the offset, so we're going to leave that like that. See, we try things, and they don't always work. So we take this other headlight brick, drop it down the center, grab it, and stick that there. We're going to grab ourselves another 1x2 tile. If I can. Again, this is one of the pieces I use the most, the 1x2 tile, in pretty much every color. Put that back in there. Put our 1x3 back there. And then we end up with the same issue on this side that we had over here. So we're going to do the same thing. Put all these back in place so we know exactly where it's going to go. Oops. And I can't keep track of my design. There we go. Right, we fell off there. Our 1x2 tile fell off. We're going to stick that back on there. Gonna do this to make sure it's attached. And we're going to take this 1x2 plate off the back again and remove one of our 1x1 headlight bricks. Stick that on the top. Alright. Now we've got a window in there. Not crazy about the look of it. I would prefer to have some more bricks going all the way around. I'm not crazy about how the color scheme changes when the window's in there. If we remove this arch, and instead of going with the dark gray, went with a light gray, I'm going to mess around with this a little bit too, make sure that these two bricks on the outside are touching it together. What do we think of that? It's better. Suppose one of the other things we could do is we want to make sure we have the design as consistent as possible. So if we remove a couple of these, see, design is an ugly process. I'm going to remove one of these. This is no longer attached to anything. Remove one of these round 1x1 bricks and put in a headlight brick here. Okay. Okay. And I'm going to put this brick back here, and I'm going to look for another 1x2 light gray tile. Okay. I'm going to put that there. I'm going to do the same thing over here. Come on. And we're going to do it the opposite this time. We're going to put the headlight brick on the bottom. Showing you what I'm making here. So I've got my headlight brick and my 1x1 round. I'm going to stick that back in there. Take my 1x2 tile. Put it there. All in the interest of getting as many bricks and light gray color to keep the consistency of our texture here so that it all looks like it's one tower. There, that's marginally better than it was here. Let's push that in a little bit. Finagle this so that it's kind of at that angle. These touch the arch brick right on the corner symmetrically. Turn that so that we have our other brick seams going up. There. We added a window. If you're not happy with that, you are certainly welcome to try better techniques. I'm sure there are many more out there. But this is the point of working on your design and being willing to change it and try new things and willing to take it apart and put it back together several times. Thank you for joining us for Building Around Part 1. What did you think? Leave comments in the comment section. You can ask any question you like. What would you like to see next? On the Facebook page, please leave comments there. Questions you might have. I'll try to answer all the questions I have. We'll do a bi-weekly or monthly update on what's going on with Brickworld. Ask any of the questions. I'll try to get them answered. What would you like to see in Part 2? Maybe even leave some comments in the comment section on Facebook. Maybe you tried this out. Maybe you found some cool stuff. Post pictures of what you're building. In Building Around Part 2, we will design this tower into a bigger structure. And we'll put some more windows in. We will change the texture. We'll go from stone to a timbered room up here. And we'll take a look at how to put a roof on this when it's all done. Next up will be a video about building a truss bridge. Take a look for that in the next couple of days. And we hope to see everybody out there building. And hopefully we're inspiring and teaching and building the Brickworld community out there. Thanks, everybody.